Sandman Stories presents Chapter 7, The Ill-Fated Priest. A certain scribe of Chungcheong Province, whose name was Kim Kyung-jin, once told me the following story. Said he, in the year 1640, as I was journeying past Bighorn Bridge in Taiyuan County, I saw a scholar who, with his 4 or 5 servants, had met with some accident, and all were reduced to a state of unconsciousness, lying by the riverside. I asked the reason for what had befallen them, and they at last said in reply, "We were eating our noon meal by the side of the road, when a Buddhist priest came by, a proud, arrogant fellow, who refused to bow or show any recognition of us. One of the servants, indignant at this, shouted at him. The priest, however, beat him with a stick, and when others went to help, he beat them also, so that they were completely worsted and unable to rise or walk. He then scolded the scholar, saying, 'You did not reprimand your servants for their insult to me, so I'll have to take it out of you as well.' The Buddhist gave him a number of vicious blows, so that he completely collapsed. And when I looked, there was the priest, a li or 2 ahead. Just then, a military man, aged about 40 or so, came my way. He was poor in flesh, and seemed to have no strength. Riding a cadaverous pony, he came shuffling along. A boy accompanying carried his hat cover and bow and arrows. He arrived at the stream and, seeing the people in their plight, asked the cause. The officer was very angry and said, 'Yonder impudent priest, endowed with no end of brute force, has attacked my people and me.' 'Indeed,' said the stranger, 'I have been aware of him for a long time, and I have decided to rid the earth of him. But I have never had an opportunity before. Now that I have at last come on him, I am determined to have satisfaction.' So he dismounted from his horse, tightened his girth, took his bow and an arrow that had a fist head, and made off at a gallop after the priest. Soon he overtook him. Just as the priest looked back, the archer let fly his arrow, which entered deep into the chest. He then dismounted, drew his sword, pierced the 2 hands of the priest, and passed a string through them, tied him to his horse's tail, and came triumphantly back to where the scholar lay, and said, 'Now do with this fellow as you please. I am going.' The scholar bowed before the archer, thanked him, asked his place of residence and name. He replied, 'My home is in the county of Gojang,' but he did not give his name. The scholar looked at the priest, and never before had he seen so powerful a giant. But now, with his chest shot through and his hands pierced, he was unable to speak. So they arose, made mincemeat of him, and went on their way rejoicing. The end.